Loving all these winter shots. Thanks so much for watching Afternoon Live. We're taught to have compassion for others, but do we take the time to have compassion for ourselves? Well, here with tips on how to cultivate self-compassion, we welcome licensed therapist Kristen Genzano joins me. Good to see you again.
It's so good to be here, Kara. Thanks for having me.
And I always love your topics that you come up with for us. This one is really true. It's you're always taught to have compassion, but when it comes to yourself, it's really hard.
That's right. And there's this sort of misconception that for ourselves, if we want to stay motivated and we want to kind of continue to achieve and to be the best people we can, that we need to really criticize ourselves and motivate ourselves with like, do better, try harder. But that's actually not true. There's a ton of research out there right now showing us that being kind to ourselves, being gentle with ourselves, and offering ourselves the same compassion we would offer a friend motivates us more.
Yeah, how have you seen that it eats up your clients who come in and just feel like they give their all?
Yeah, I mean, so I work with a lot of women actually who are sort of high achieving women, and they're struggling a lot with perfectionism. And so there's this like inner critical voice that says like, you know what, you got to keep doing more, you got to try harder, you've got to show up differently. And so what I work with in terms of our sessions is we sit together and we talk about, what would I say to my friend? How can I say that to myself? How can I notice that this difficult moment is really a human experience? It's not because there's anything wrong with me.
So take us through that. How do you practice that yourself at home as one of us?
Yeah, great question. And this is actually a really sort of like personal topic for me too, because this is something I practice daily. And so the first thing that you want to do is you want to notice that you're having a moment where there's just that sort of inner criticism. There's something that's maybe a little bit judgmental or a little bit like that should voice, and just recognize that. As soon as you notice it and you can take a breath, you get a little bit of distance from that. And so you can sort of create some space, right? So once you've noticed that inner critic is there, you've taken a breath and you have a little bit of space, you want to acknowledge that difficulty is a human experience. That everyone experiences overwhelm, experiences sadness, experiences difficult moments in life. And instead of comparing like what's happening for me right now to what would someone else might be doing this better, you want to just acknowledge this is human. Everyone experiences this.
Okay.
Once you've acknowledged that, then comes that piece where you want to offer yourself that same kindness and same gentle response that you would offer to a friend. So, for example, if, I've been running around doing errands all day and I forgot to feed the meter and I come out with a parking ticket, instead of saying something like, oh my gosh, how could you be so forgetful? I might say what I would say to you if you told me that happened to you, which would be like, it sounds like you have a lot going on. Is there anything you need help with? Oh my gosh, people get tickets all the time. Don't worry about it. How can I offer that to myself?
How do you keep yourself from beating yourself up though still? Because you can say to yourself that very easily.
Totally.
But it still is like, oh,
yeah, right.
You beat yourself up a little bit. And that makes you who you are too.
Exactly. So this is the fun part. This is the part where you get to practice. It's called practice, right? Because you practice over and over again. So you're not actually going to be able to stop yourself from beating yourself up, but it's that piece of noticing when it's happening, creating a little bit of space, and then offering yourself a different response. So just saying, okay, this is good. This happens with me, it happens with other people, and how can I be kind to myself?
You say, because I think it's very common to say to somebody, oh, just think about what I would say to you.
Yeah.
And then it's easy to hear that. Say, what would my friends say to me?
Exactly.
But to put that in perspective is really tough.
Absolutely, it's really difficult. But that's what's kind of cool about this practice, is that every time there's that experience of something difficult, it's an opportunity to practice.
Okay, so take a deep breath, push it away.
Well, acknowledge it.
Acknowledge
so
it.
Just get a little bit of distance from it.
Okay.
If we push it away, then we can kind of be hard on ourselves again.
And it's just your experiment to do.
That's it. That's exactly right.
And
have fun with it. You can't get it wrong.
Yeah. Now, you say you do this every day, too. Is it a morning thing? Is it a meditation thing? Or is it just when you find yourself starting to feel like you're that perfectionist?
So it's when I notice those moments of that critical voice that I'm sort of being hard on myself, or I'm like, ooh, I could have done that better, or should have. All those are like trigger words for me. I'm like, okay, time to practice self-compassion.
That's a big one. I should have done that better. I
Yep.
say that a lot.
Totally. We all do. We
Right?
all do. Yep.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kristen.
Aw.
Great tips. We'll have more information about Kristen and her tips on our website at KATU.com. Don't go away. So much more when we come back.
Thank you.